Now we're going to talk about something that most of you probably have never seen before. So this is something brand new. Some of you may have seen it, I don't know. But there's a concept in algebra called functions, okay? And it's all about how the x and the y in a point relate to each other. So in functions, let's start with every set of points is a relation. In other words, the points relate to each other. They make some kind of a picture, so to speak. But some relations are functions. Okay? And what we're going to be talking about today is a function. So every function is a relation, but every relation is not a function. And the thing you need to know about functions is it's 1 to 1. The biggest thing you want to think about is for each x, there is 1 and only 1 y. Okay? And our x is the independent variable, and the y is the dependent variable. In other words, y, its value is going to depend upon x, okay? So let's say that the amount of your paycheck, y, depends on the number of hours that you work, x. So if you work 5 hours, and let's say you make $8 an hour, then your paycheck, y, will be $40. If you work 10 hours, x, and that's independent because whatever you work is what you work, but y is dependent on how many hours you work. And again, if you're making $8 an hour, that would be $80. If you worked 40 hours, then you would make $320. So your x variable is the independent one, and your y variable is the dependent one. Okay? Now, let's talk about how we can tell if a set of numbers, points, is a function or not. Okay? So if I were given this set of points, okay? So every set of points is a relation. So if I asked you, is this a relation? You would say, yes, it's a set of points, therefore it's a relation. If I asked you if it's a function, you're going to have to say, I'm not sure yet. So here's what I do to tell if it's a function. Okay? I'm going to put my x variables, or my x coordinates under the x, and I don't repeat them. So I've got -1 twice, so I only write it once. And then I'm going to put my y variables, or y coordinates over here. And then I'm going to do what's called map them. So I look here, these two. So 0 goes to 3. Okay, now I'm going to look at this one. So -1 goes to 2. Okay, and then I'm going to look at this one. And this -1 goes to 3. Now, the problem is that this coordinate, this x, has two y's. It has a y of both 2 and 3. So it is not a function. Okay? Let's look at another one. And you might have to go back and look at these several times to really get this down. But hopefully I'll do enough examples here to get this so it's understandable. And in actuality, in just a minute, well, in the next video, I'm going to show you an even easier way to know if these are graphed. But this is what we have to do if they aren't graphed. So, of course, here's a set of points. So this is a relation, but is it a function? Well, not sure yet. So let's map it. So we've got -2, 1, and 3 for our x's. And we've got -2, -1, and 2 for our y's. Okay, now let's map this. So 1 goes to 2. So 1 goes to 2. And then this one, -2, whoops, let's see, 2, well, I don't know where I get this guy from. Let's redo this just a second. So it helps if you map it correctly. So we've got -1, 2, and 4. All right. So let's remap this. Okay. So first, 1 goes to 2. So right here. Come on. All right. Then this one, -2 goes to 4. So -2 goes to 4. And this, 3 goes to -1. So for every x, we have just one y. So this is a function. Okay? Yes, it is a function. Let's do a couple of more, just to make sure we're getting this down. Okay? So the next one, we're going to have this set of points, which is -2, -1, -1, and you might want to be writing these down as I am so you can try this along with me. Okay, 1 and 2 and 2 and 2. All right, so it is a relation because all sets of points are relations, but is it a function? Only if it's 1 to 1. For every x, there's got to be one and only one y. So we get -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. And over here, we get -1, 0, 1, and 2. Okay, now let's map this. Okay. So first I want to look at this one. So -2 to -1. Okay. All right. Then next, -1 to 0. Okay. Well, that's looking good. 0 to 1. Still looking good. 1 to 2. Still looking good. And 2 to 2. Now, many of you are going to want to say that this is not a function, but this one has one y, and it's a 2. And this 2 has one y, and it's a 2. Now, these two, the 1 and the 2, share the same y, but for each of our x's, they have only one y. So this is yes, as opposed to this x here, which has both this and this as a y. So try them both again, this one and this one, and make sure you're getting it. Keep in mind, keep saying over and over to yourself, for every x, there's only one y. Let's try one more. Okay, got the set of -4, 1, -2, 1, and -2, and 0. Okay, so now let's Is it a relation? Of course, all sets of points are relations, but is it also a function? Well, not really sure. We've got -4, we've got -2 for our x, and we've got 0 and 1 for our y's. So now let's map this and see if for every x there's only one y. So -4 goes to 1, okay. -2 goes to 1, and -2 goes to 0. This 2, -2, now has two y's, so it is not a function. Okay? So that's just a little bit of an introduction. We're going to do a couple of more things with functions, but we're just going to barely touch on it in this class. You will get a lot more about functions when you get into the next class. But watch the next video. It's going to be about domain and range and how to tell if a graph is a function. And then the third video in this is going to be about function notation. Okay? So have fun.